Bitch better fucking record. Alright, there. Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, let me just do the intro. What is up, everyone? What is up, everyone? It is me, Shannon, and today we're going to be reading a creepypasta called Max and Ruby 001. I think that's what it's called. It's a decently popular creepypasta. I'm sure you guys are probably familiar with it, and I know you guys didn't click on this video to hear me talk. You want to see a 12-year-old kid read a damn fucking creepypasta from some 13-year-old in his mom's fucking basement. So without further ado, let's do this shit. I'll teach. It was just this Christmas that went by, and things were getting busy. I had to start buying presents for the whole family. I had just finished shopping, but I still needed to grab a present for my little cousin. She is not very hard to shop for, since my cousin is 4. She likes things like Peppa Pig and My Little Pony. She really liked, and I say liked for a reason, Max and Ruby. So when I decided to go looking for a present, I figured something like a Max and Ruby DVD would have been perfect. Since she liked to watch it on a daily basis. However, Christmas meant that many of the online DVDs were sold out on most places. I went to look on eBay as well, but I figured I could not trust the condition the DVD would have been in. So I was stuck in a rut for a while until that package arrived. I was at home, still scrolling for a stupid DVD until I heard the sound of something being pushed into my letterbox. I caught a hold of it before my dog did and looked at the package. It seemed to be wrapped fairly badly, with what looked like grease marks and stains on it, naturally, as anyone would. I decided to open the package. Inside was something that I could not explain. It was a Max and Ruby DVD. Dun dun dun! But I had never seen one like it online. It was like some little kid had drawn on the front cover with a marker. The title was just Max and Ruby, with illustration of Max and Ruby on the front. There was no names, anything. But on the back, it had a list of 4 episodes, all with blunt titles. Episode 1_001. Episode 2_0002. Episode 3_003. Episode 4_0004. It's so scary. I was quick. I quickly gave the DVD a watch over. To my surprise, all the episodes were in perfect quality and seemed to have no flaws. It was as if a real DVD, just with a homemade cover. The only thing I thought appeared odd was the episode selection screen. The episodes had names, but they were all titled Max and Ruby. 1, with the numbers being changed as it went down the list. Actual selection screen was just a plain white screen with black text and nothing else. After giving it much thought, I decided to change the cover to something a little nicer by printing out a DVD cover that I had found on Google and tracked down, and the names of the episodes so they were labeled correctly. So I left the episode list screen alone because I figured it was self-explanatory. Christmas went by and things were fine. I gave my little cousin her DVD and she was happy with it all through Christmas. But that was only because she hasn't watched it yet. On Boxing Day, the family had gone out for lunch and left me to babysit my cousin. I was not too bothered about being left home or at home. I figured now was a good time to put on that DVD for her. I had put the DVD in and allowed it to play while I was in the kitchen eating my dinner. I could hear she had watched episodes 1, 2, 3 so far from what I was just about to finish my noodles when I heard my cousin screaming from the other room. I dropped everything I had, run into the living room, and saw my cousin curled up on the floor screaming. I had looked up at the TV, and I had felt my heart in my throat. What I caught a glimpse of was one of the most horrifying things I had ever seen. It was what appeared to be a frame of Max and Ruby standing next to each other in complete darkness. But what made it so horrible was their lack of faces. They had lost their noses and mouths, and their eyes were replaced with big black holes. The colors were a disgusting blood red, and there was faint static in the background. The sound was replaced with what sounded like the Max and Ruby theme playing backwards, with the faint sound of static in the mix of it all. It had to be the most disturbing thing I had ever seen. It must have been on screen for at least 20 seconds before the screen went to black and our television turned off, which alone was weird because TVs don't usually turn off by themselves. I was able to calm my cousin down, telling her it wasn't real, and she had a nightmare, and she had fallen asleep in front of the TV. However, I knew in my mind it was completely real. My parents had rung me up and told me they were going to be out all night. This was going to be the best opportunity to look at this DVD more closely. I didn't mention it to them, and as soon as the hung up, I grabbed the DVD before opening it on my laptop. As soon as it loaded, I noticed that episode 0004 had now been replaced with R.I.P. Mommy and Daddy, which sent a deep chill down my back. Since my cousin was now asleep, I plugged in my earbuds so he can sleep without having to hear anything. Normally, an episode of Max and Ruby would feature 3 short stories. This episode had only one. It started off quite happy. Max and Ruby were playing tag in the garden, and their parents were. However, something was off. sound was playing in reverse, and their parents' faces were that of sadness. It panned to the mother and father, and in a voice of deep sorrow, the father spoke. It's such a shame, he sighed. It then sound of static and a loud scream, followed by the sound of two people choking. The sounds felt so real, it made me almost physically sick. The scene then switched to both Max and Ruby standing in front of what looked like a gravestone labeled R.I.P. Mommy and Daddy. The two of them had no faces at this point. There was also no sound apart. There was no sound apart from faint static. This scene remained on screen for about a minute and a half before it cut away to black. The scene changed the scene, now showing Max and Ruby sitting in Ruby's room. Both of them were sobbing. The sobs were so realistic and heart-wrenching that it sounded like it was recorded from a real person mourning. What happened next was probably the most disgusting yet saddest thing I have ever witnessed. The scene had changed to Max sitting in his room. He was standing on a chair with a noose hanging from the ceiling. He placed the noose around his neck. My computer screen faded to black as the static got louder. Almost instantly, it then cut to Ruby walking in on her brother. She let out a horrific scream. As the background turned black, the camera was panned on her face. The sound of a chair being kicked, the same choking from her. The picture of Ruby's face stayed on screen for a good 5 minutes. This time, her eyes had returned as the same gaping holes. Ruby then started crying, and as before, there were no facial features. The static slowly grew louder and drowned out the sound of her cries. The scene cut to black with loud static. When the screen returned, Ruby was standing on her own in the garden by two gravestones. One was labeled R.I.P. Mommy and Daddy. And the other R.I.P. Brother. At this point, I had already been sick and was sitting all shaken. The episode seemed to have come to an end at last, as an old computer noise started playing. I was about to eject the DVD when the same image came up like it did on the TV. This time, however, there was text above the two rabbits which said, "Death is our only release." There were no credits or anything. It stayed on this for a few seconds before the DVD finally popped out of the laptop. I sat there trying to contemplate what had happened. In my shock and fear, I made the foolish decision to break the DVD up as much as I could before leaving the house. Afterwards, I shoved the pieces down the drain. Thankfully, I kept a few screenshots and saved them to my laptop. The next couple of days went past without anything unusual happening. I had a few nightmares about that DVD, but luckily that was all. My cousin had gone back home along with the rest of her family. It was a late night and my parents had gone out for dinner, leaving me to watch TV. I heard what sounded like someone posting something through the door. At this point, the DVD had left my mind since I hadn't told anyone about it. However, it all came flooding back when I looked down at the letter in front of me. It was just messily folded and said, "Death is our only release." Well, first of of all, I think overall this is a pretty good game, I think overall this is a pretty good creepypasta. I mean, I think if I think that I'd probably have a little bit of a hard time, or I did have a little bit of a hard time actually trying to think of an issue for this, but I did think of one. One issue is I feel like the narrator, like, overreacts a lot in the fucking story. Like, the part where he's watching that, the episode when he put it on his DVD, and then the Max boy, the brother, whatever, tries to hang himself. He says it's the most disgusting thing ever. I mean, sure, I guess it's a little bit disturbing for, like, a duck with a fucking IQ of 5, but, I mean, it's not really that disturbing, really. It's just a fucking animated fucking thing of goddamn rabbit hanging itself. Something you find on fucking Reddit or some shit. And trust me, if you want to see the most disgusting thing you've ever seen, just fucking Google blue waffles. Trust me, you can thank me later. Yeah, but anyways, I think if before I end the video, so that you guys can go make some fucking pizza rolls or some shit, I'm going to be uploading YouTube videos every goddamn Monday and Wednesday, so fucking come into that shit, or I'll slash your goddamn tires. But yeah, overall I think this is a good creepypasta, and if you guys could please like the video if you can, because this thing took me like 4 or 5 hours to edit, and I'm fucking sick of editing, and I wish somebody would just fucking goddamn SWAT team would just fucking come in and goddamn give me a damn fucking purple heart. Yeah, anyways, I'm running out of time, and overall, it's a great creepypasta, would recommend it. Yeah, bye, bitch.